Welcome back to another episode of the Football Funtits. We are back to our midweek Premier League updates. We've been in FPLE only for a while, but we're going to come back with more of these. We have India Spurs with us today, but more importantly, we also have a returning Fundit Abhishek who was on paternity leave. Um, India Spurs, welcome back. We last spoke about Spurs doing very well. Quite a few good predictions there, guys. Alok and Harsh, very good predictions there about loss to Liverpool, loss to Leicester, win City, win Arsenal, right? So those good predictions in there by all. Struggling against Palace. I mean, clearly the pain you'll have felt over the years all boiled down into that video, right? But Harsh, let's start with you and then Alok after that. Sixth in the table, game in hand,
Yeah,
33 points, not the worst. But let's be honest, with the kind of squad that you have, you should have been picking up all those points.
yeah, we should have done better. We have lost points against the teams in the bottom half of the table. I mean, we have taken the lead in almost all of the games, and if you see the stats according to that, we have, I think, led mostly all of our games, and we have been in the losing position in like only 3 or 4 times. I think the United game was one of them where we got behind for like what 3-4 minutes because of the Bruno penalty, and then after that Leicester game was one of those games which we went behind for about 45 minutes. And I think all of the games we have taken the lead, and then we have conceded very late on, about around the 75th minute mark. And I mean, I'll be speaking on the stats again. We have conceded around 17 to 18 goals in the last 15 minutes of the games that we have played in the Premier League. So that speaks a lot. We have taken the lead, but we just have lacked the confidence and the killing, game killing X factor to get the second goal and finish the game off. So we should have done better, way better, yes, but we have lost a lot of points just because we have, I mean, you can say, sat back after the taking the lead, and we just haven't turned up like we have turned up in the first half. We just haven't turned up at all in the second half of almost all of our games. Yeah.
Alok, he's referring to the West Ham game, right? That 3-3, you all were cruising in that game. And, that Abhishek can take up after what you say, Alok. Mentality, Jose, that big build up after, all or nothing and everything. Spurs still, like her said, that killer instinct is still missing in some games, right? I know that he sets up to play that way, like against Liverpool. On another day, you could have won that game 3-1. Son missed a few open goals, hit the post, unlucky, and Dombley and all of that, right? But that killer instinct is still missing, just about, right?
Yes, in the first half of the season, I mean the first half of the first half, we saw Tottenham play very different style of football. We knew that that was something replicable to what Mourinho tried to do in Madrid, counter-attacking football, using wings, and making Kane drop back, and we were playing really nice. I think the West Ham game changed something in the minds of our players also. I really don't think that Jose tells people to just defend for all of the 45 minutes. There has to be some attacking intent where he keeps telling that, come on. I mean, you can see the sideline videos of Mourinho where he keeps telling people to press or attack. But it's, I think, the players who are not really ready to do that. The biggest problem with that, I think, what changed with the way Tottenham plays, Mourinho losing the trust in Davinson Sanchez. He's the only fast-paced centre back that we have, and without him, both Toby and Dyer, they have to play very low in the field because they just don't have the pace to go forward and then fall back. So because of that, the entire shape of the team changes, and we have to play a very low block. When Davinson Sanchez play, we could play a slightly higher line than what we generally play. You see all the goals that we are conceding, all the goals are coming in the same pattern. You get a free kick around the box, they put a cross in, and we concede a goal, very poor in the air. Son has little, I mean, initially he scored goals out of nowhere, and right now he's missing some of the sitters. So I think in the mix of the play, I think we are where we are. It's, I think, shows or reflects the perfect way of the way Tottenham has played this year. I can't complain about the point table. We should have been better against Wolves or even against Liverpool. We could have won that game. But that killer instinct is missing. I don't think it's in the front. I think it's in the midfield and the back line.
Abby, man, like as a neutral, let's say you're watching this happening, you're looking at Spurs doing decent, fumbling somewhere. Do you genuinely look at Jose? Do you see Jose's imprint on this side? Or do you think that Spurs have that shade of gold?
I like what Alok has started with, because my point was exactly that. So if you look at classic Jose Mourinho teams, right from FC Porto winning the Champions League till today, right? We all know Jose's philosophy of parking the bus, which I don't think is wrong, right? I mean, if you're in the lead, you want to shut out a game. It takes defensive organization to shut out a game. It takes defensive organization to park the bus. Let's revisit all of Jose's sides from the past, right? He's always had one talisman at the back, centre back, who's been like the rock of his defense. Ricardo Carvalho at FC Porto, John Terry at Chelsea for the longest time. He had Sergio Ramos at Real Madrid. He had Azpilicueta during his time back at Chelsea. Marco Materazzi at Inter Milan. At United, well, he didn't have a talisman, but then Eric Bailly was at his peak under Jose Mourinho, right? He was the next big centre back. Who, according to you, in this current lineup, right, in that centre back, Alok rightly said, Davinson Sanchez, no. Eric Dyer, great player, really rate the guy, but no, hasn't stood up, hasn't really done what Jose Mourinho's centre backs have done. Alderweireld, I'd say, is on the decline from what his stock was 2 years back. He's not Toby Alderweireld from 2018-17, one of the most sought after, right? I think that's where the problem lies, because like Alok rightly said, attacking and scoring goals, no problem. You've got two of the world's greatest attackers right now at Tottenham Hotspur. You've got Son and you've got Harry Kane. There is where I think the problem lies, and it's going to take a lot out of Jose this season, because the way they started, flying out of the blocks, clear title favorites at one stage, right? With Liverpool, they were even top of the table for some time, and from there to see this decline, and the decline typically when teams go through a decline, like let's say Arsenal, right? It's when the goals dry up. It's when the team isn't performing, when the football isn't fluent, when people are not when your top scorer suddenly goes on a dry spell. Traditionally, that's when teams falter off, right? Look at Liverpool, haven't scored in 5 games, right, in the Premier League. That's why they've fallen off. Look at Arsenal, Aubameyang didn't score, they've fallen off. Here you have an interesting thing, yeah. You've got the team scoring goals, but then you don't have them defending, and it's not just about defending; it's about the manner in which they're letting go of games, and I think that's going to hurt them big time. Jose needs to fix this, and 27 days are over in January. They haven't signed a centre back. I'm going to be worried for this Tottenham Hotspur side, unless you see like a tremendous recovery from one of their centre backs. A new leader needs to emerge who doesn't just go and score goals. You need to start seeing leaders now in that back four, which I don't see happening. So this could be a very tricky spell for Tottenham.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you there, right? Look, when we spoke about the season and prediction for the season, right, I put Spurs at second. Looking at what I saw in the preseason, the lack of, when you saw the mentality Jose came in, that worked for the longest time. And like Abby mentioned, that suddenly they kind of went off the cliff. I mean, it doesn't look drastic so far. If you look at the table, it's 33 points, game in hand. If they beat Liverpool, they can jump them in 4th place with that game in hand, right? But the worry, like he said, is when you start Europa again, now the crunch time is coming. Game week 23 onwards till game week 29 before the international break, right? You have double game weeks coming up, players playing Europa as well. Your backline is thin. So the worry is right there. Now, Kane and Son we spoke about, right? Jose has actually made Kane more ruthless. Less chances than he ever had against Pochettino, but way more ruthless with his chances. In the long run, though, I fear that that's where you might lose out. When your defense is leaking too many goals, Kane playing that deep, and Son, last 3 games, you can see that he's actually not finishing those. A lot of pressure on him now. If they buckle under the pressure, who's getting you those goals, right? Bale, let's talk about Gareth Bale a bit, right? Harsh, you can start off first. You're not going to get anybody in January. Ideally, this is the squad you have. Don't see a centre-back coming either. We are on, today's the 27th of January. Do you see yourself genuinely challenging Europa, winning the Europa? Or would you see yourself challenging for the title instead and leaving everything on the side?
I don't think the Premier League title is in the reach anymore. And I don't think if it was anywhere near in reach, like from the season, from when the season started, we just were there on the top because other teams weren't performing that well. and we won our fixtures against the big teams consecutively. So I never thought of us being the contenders in the Premier League. I think Mourinho knew that from the get-go, and the focus has been on getting to the in later stages of all the cups. We have gone to the final of the Carabao Cup, and his aim is to get to at least one more final, be it the Europa League or the FA Cup. I think I'll take an example of the game that we had against Wickham a couple of days back. So we saw Gareth Bale play his best in a game since returning back to Tottenham. I mean, he was taking on players. He was cutting inside. He was going past his opponent fullback. We never saw that in any of his games that he has played for us since returning. So I see that there is some sort of confidence coming back in him, but I don't think it will be that much of a confidence boost that he is able to perform that well in the Premier League. But I do have hope that he can replicate that in the Europa League or the FA Cup games. So speaking on getting to the later stages of the cups, I think we have enough squad depth with us to get into the later stages of especially Europa League. You say if you get lucky with the fixtures of the Europa League, you won't be facing any big teams, so as to say, till at least the semi-final stages. So you get 3 rounds, the round of 32, 16 and the quarterfinals, which you can manage with a beast team, so as to say. So I think there the experience of Gareth Bale and having a second striker in Vinicius, having a player like Lucas Moura who can pitch in when called upon, we have the squad depth to go into the later stages. But when the fixtures become really congested, then I think the priority factor will come in, which I think will be focusing on the Europa League more if we can do it like that. Yeah.
All right, Alok, see, you had a fair point about Europa. Like Mourinho, like at United, would want to go for cups which are attainable and let the chips fall where they fall in the Premier League. I mean, see, if you beat Liverpool, you'll be on, like I said, 36, 5 points behind City on top. Not the biggest gap to worry about looking at the season is going, right? City have been in an incredible form. They've got, I think, 1 goal conceded, 2 goals conceded since they conceded against y'all in November. That is going to drop off somewhere. It is going to happen. That's how stats work. It's going to eventually fall off, right? Are you also writing off that much? Are you writing off the season that much in the Premier League? In context of, let's talk about now your game versus Liverpool. How do you see that game going? And Abby, you can give us the Liverpool aspect of it, right?
Yeah. The first question, like Harsh said, we knew that even when we were on top, it's too early to speak about a title challenge when it comes to Tottenham. You can't be really sure until actually the fat lady sings at the end. We were at the top because we were playing really good football, and if we actually were the title challengers, we should have kept performing at the same level throughout December and the Christmas period, which we didn't. That is why I think that we are not the title challengers this year. Clearly not. We would be thereabouts. I think second, third, top 4 is still something that I can see that Tottenham achieving at the end. But even Jose Mourinho knew that this team is not good enough to be a victorious after 38 games. The defense is not that strong, as Abby rightly said. There is no Jose Mourinho type of a leader in the team in the defense, which we could have gotten if we had gotten Ruben Dias, which we were really looking forward to. And even the club was really interested in Ruben Dias, but we couldn't pay the fees. So if we had gotten someone like him or Milan Skriniar, we probably could have been there in the title race this year, but I don't think we are anymore. Still 19, about 17 more games to be played. A lot of things can happen. So I don't want to predict anything beforehand, because once the Europa League comes in or Champions League comes in, and when you play 2-3 games a week, that's when it becomes more difficult. The second point that we spoke about is when the Liverpool game, that how I see it happening is that Liverpool, I don't think we could have faced Liverpool at a worse time. They really want to bounce back. They have been blowing us apart over the last few years.
Look, you could have been
I
facing a Liverpool that would have been top of the table with Virgil van Dijk. This is
yeah.
the best time to
Yeah,
be
I mean,
facing
come on.
Liverpool,
Yeah,
right?
of course, of
I don't
course, of
understand that
course.
comment.
I'm telling you, I know where I understand this. I spoke the last episode we spoke about, right? You know that inner Spurs fan in them, the beaten down Spurs fan, which had so much hope and it's been beaten every time. I think that Spurs fan has come out here again right now.
Of course, of course. You have to
I,
be really, really pessimistic when it comes to watching Spurs play and being optimistic about playing
I am
Liverpool.
hoping, Alok, you formally, because I guess this is from you being a Spurs fan. I understand the sentiment, but if me being a non-Spurs fan, the way I look at this fixture is, this could be Spurs putting a very serious dent into Liverpool's title hopes. That's how
Right.
the rest of us are looking at it, right? Because
Yeah.
I understand that team morale is a bit low at Spurs, but I would say it's far lower at Liverpool right now.
Right.
From having ambitions of going back to back. Because see, for Liverpool fans, for Spurs fans, it's about, can we challenge for the title? If we win the title, oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But if we finish second, third, have a strong cup run, win the Europa, dude, Jose is killing it. For Liverpool fans, it's
Absolutely.
we have to win the title to prove that this is a great squad. To have comparisons to United teams from the past, that this is. So I just feel for a Liverpool fan, given that the way results have gone, I understand you're a Spurs fan, so you feel like
Yeah.
you're in the doldrums, right? But I'm looking at it as Liverpool fans would be looking at this fixture as, dude, you know what? We could, our season could come to an end very soon if we don't beat Spurs. And I don't see Liverpool beating Spurs, man. I think this is Spurs' best chance to bounce back. I think this is Spurs' game to win. I think Spurs are the ones who have a lot more, riding, at stake. As a United fan, given that we're top of the table, well, second now, given that City are now top of the table, do I want Spurs to win this game? Absolutely, because that puts Liverpool. It just increases the gap that much more, right? And having lost to United in the FA Cup, having had a bad run of results in the Premier League, I'm hoping that it continues. And for a neutral observer, Alok, and I'll let you finish with this. There are going to be a lot of goals in this game. Let's not kid anyone, right? Because Tottenham's defense are a bit shaky. Liverpool's defense are very shaky. You have some of the world's greatest forwards playing against two teams where the backlines are very, very, very shaky right now, right? So hopefully, I'm hoping it's a goal fest, and it helps that I have three goal scorers in my FPL team as well. I have Son, Kane, and Mohamed Salah. So I'm really hoping there are a lot of goals in this game.
That's why I've not taken Mohamed Salah. I had a feeling that genuinely Spurs can either win this game or just go for a boring 0-0 where, Mourinho's going to be like, what, if they're going to attack, I'm just going to sit and wait. And I'm going to wait and I'm going to wait and I'm going to wait.
I don't think there are clean sheets in this game, Annie. Like, it'll be really difficult to not concede a goal in this game from both sides.
I mean,
Look,
like you said, if Liverpool were actually at the top of the table with Virgil van Dijk and with their best squad, that would have obviously been the worst situation we could have been in. But we have seen Tottenham play against Liverpool and then know that most teams get their forms back against Tottenham. It's something about Tottenham that they always make others. I mean, we can make any player look like prime Messi, prime Iniesta. So it's just Tottenham. But yeah, like you said, I think it's a good chance for us to bounce back. It's a 6-pointer, especially Liverpool and Tottenham right above next to each other in the table. It's a 6-pointer game, basically. We have a game in hand. Above them with 36 points, we go fourth with that game in hand. And if you count those 3 points again, we'll be third, just behind United. United is at 40 points, if I'm not wrong. So it's a good chance for us to launch our top 4 bid as such. But I don't want to predict anything.
How much is the side missing Jan Vertonghen, man? I mean, I think he could have been really valuable right now for this.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I think. What's happening with Toby Alderweireld is exactly what happened with Jan Vertonghen. Towards the end, his form just dipped. He couldn't play very well. Yeah, there was a head injury that he went through, a concussion, and after that, he publicly said recently that for about 3 or 4 months after that, he couldn't play well. He couldn't see the ball. He couldn't play well. He couldn't understand. He couldn't make proper decisions. And that's when he knew that, it's end for him. We miss someone like Toby and Jan at the back currently. And it's Jose's time now to find someone like Terry or Ramos or even Aspi to be there and, control their entire backline for us. Otherwise, I don't think we are going to win the title.
Tanganga.
Yeah, I was about to say he's gotten two players like you got Rodon and
He
you
was
got
the hero of
Tanganga.
that documentary, man. He
Yeah.
was the hero of All or Nothing.
You have some promise there, but yeah, it's maybe a little too soon for them this season, right? Okay, so we've spoken about all of that. Let's look at to wrap this up, right? Harsh, with you. I know you don't like your predictions. I know you hate making predictions, but genuine predictions for the Liverpool game, and a quick one about what you'll take at the end of season.
So at the end of the season, I'll take a top 4 finish if it comes to that. I don't think it'll be very, very tough, but I'll grab a top 4 place with both hands if it comes to that. For the Liverpool game, I think I'll take a draw if it's like that, because I don't think. As Alok has already said, the talk has already been done. So I don't think we are winning this.
I know when Harsh says I'll take a draw. In Harsh's mind, he's predicted a very bad 4-0 loss already. I know Harsh has gone 4-0 loss in his mind. Salah hat-trick or something like that. Please, no Salah hat-trick. But fair enough, Harsh. Fair enough. Alok, your predictions.
Yeah, I think we have to win this game. I don't think. I don't matter. I don't care where Liverpool are today, what they're doing. I don't care. We have to step up. We have to show that we have enough guns to blow teams apart, and we know that we have it. Jose Mourinho. The players have to take the responsibility eventually. Jose Mourinho is not going to play on the pitch eventually. There are going to be some decisions to be made on the pitch where you have to decide whether to go for the ball or whether to sit back. And it's up to the players then whether to show that passion for the badge and the passion for the club and to go and beat Liverpool. I really want us to win this game. I would predict it 2-1 to Tottenham. I don't see, like Abby said, any team keeping a clean sheet because both the defenses are like really, really bad at the moment. If I have to speak about the season predictions as such, we are sitting at the halfway mark currently, and I think Carabao Cup or Europa Cup is our best chance to win or FA Cup for that matter. But it's too early to say anything about the FA Cup because too many rounds are to be played. So Europa Cup or League Cup is our best chance to win a trophy this season, and we have to win a trophy. We can't not win a trophy this season. Otherwise, I don't see Son, Kane waiting for another season after that. So yeah, top 4 and either Carabao Cup or Europa Cup should be good enough for this team.
Abby, closing comments from you.
Closing comments. Comment number 1. In my guest on the show, India Spurs. You need to hold your club to higher standards, man. Like y'all are looking at this very, 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 very conservatively. Like I'm sitting here a United fan thinking, what is wrong with these guys? Like you guys should be having top 2 ambitions. You got Gareth Bale back. If we get Ronaldo back, Champions League. Like Champions League is the standard. But I understand the sentiment. Predictions, I need 3-2 with 3-2 to Spurs with Klopp exploding in the post-match presser.
Oh man, just for that, I really want to see them losing. It's just anyway, I want to see them losing, but just for that, I would love to see that. He's on the verge, he's on the edge, he's about to just implode. But yeah, I
want to see Mourinho Klopp fight. I want to see Mourinho Klopp fight on the touchline. That's the best thing.
The Premier League needs
That'll
stuff
be
like that.
Class.
We need more of that stuff. It's become too calm on the touchline now. Like the most exciting thing happening right now, Steve Bruce not talking to the press. I mean, but yeah, I think for me as well, I do see Mourinho sitting deep, but I do see you guys just edging this game. Hopefully, your pessimism doesn't affect this outcome. But thank you so much, guys, for being here for this episode. As always, guys, go follow them on their individual handles as well as follow India Spurs on Twitter and on Instagram. Thank you, Abhishek, again for joining us for this one. We'll be doing more of the normal episodes, our Premier League previews, reviews, some fun conversations have been planned in the near future. So stay tuned for that. Hit subscribe, hit that button right now. Hit like on this video. Thank you so much for helping us reach 500. Hopefully 5,000 will be coming much sooner than it took us to get here. All right. See you guys. Thank you so much.